world is governed by laws. The universe, in fact. Laws. We call it the law of electricity. We call it the law of gravity. There's mathematical laws. There's physical laws, speed and velocity laws, agricultural laws. There's all kinds of laws. This one we've heard since we were small, I'm sure. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. In fact, we've probably heard it so often we could quote it. It says, whatever you sow, what? You shall reap. Fairly blunt, hopefully clear. Here's my first suggestion on the law of sowing and reaping. Don't try to beat it. You might as well try sitting on the sun in the morning. Keep it from coming up. You'll have better luck. Whatever you sow, you reap. Now, for a fair share of my life, I'm a bit mixed up on how all this applies. Among a lot of things I was mixed up on. I knew I wasn't reaping too good. That I understood. My problem was I was confused about what was causing it. Remember me with the funny list? I thought those are the reasons why it isn't working out well. And then Mr. Schoaf gave me the clue that helped me figure it all out. He said, Mr. Rohn, I have another answer for you. There's another way to quote this law that'll show you where the problem is so you can go to work on it right away. All you need to know is where the problem is, then you can go to work on it. So he quoted me the law another way, and I found out what my problem was. Here's the way you quote the law. Whatever you reap is what you've sown. Now I knew what my problem was. Whatever you reap is what you've sown. If you don't like the crop, who do you look up? Answer, whoever planted it. And where do you find who planted your crop? Answer, in the mirror. What I finally learned to do come fall was to go to the mirror. That's where you go. And if necessary, you say, a few skinny carrots? I got to be unimpressed. Where were you last spring? Asleep. Didn't you read the books? Let me give you 7 key points to the law of sowing and reaping. Let's tick right down through the list of 7. 7 points to sowing and reaping. Here's part of the philosophy that really helped me to make some changes in life direction. Number 1, the law of sowing and reaping is negative. That's number 1, which simply means if you sow bad, you reap bad. Now, this is kind of 3rd grade, but it doesn't hurt to go over the basics. If you plant thistle seeds, you don't get pumpkins. Honest, no use looking for pumpkins. John says, how come no pumpkins? Come on, John. The law's negative. That's how come. Now, here's number 2. The law's positive, which simply means if you sow good, you reap good. If you plant pumpkin seeds, you don't get thistles. Not from pumpkin seeds. Mother Nature won't pull tricks on you over in the corner snickering and push new thistles and you planting pumpkin seeds. She won't do that. You will get pumpkins from pumpkin seeds, and the reason is because the law is positive. Now here's number 3. I got excited when I found out the full dimension of this. See, you do not reap what you sow, but rather you always reap much more than what you sow. So the 3rd key word is more. You don't get back what you put out. You get back much more than what you put out. And it works both positive and negative. If you plant a cup of corn in the spring, how much corn do you reap in the fall? Not a cup. You might as well keep the cup you got. Why go to all the trouble planting a cup of corn in the spring? Water it and take care of it all summer. Look after it carefully. Cross your fingers and pray. Why go through all that? Reason. Come fall, you could well get a bushel for the cup. A bushel for a cup. It's called one of life's better deals. Guy says, well, yeah, I'll figure out how that works. You could get rich. That's right. That's right. Then how come more people aren't wealthy? They don't study much sow and reap. The guy says, well, yeah, you work where I work, but the time you struggle home, it's late. You've got to eat a bite of supper, watch a little TV. Here's number 4. Fourth key to sowing and reaping. There are many ways to sow and reap. There's many ways to change your life. There's many ways to get promoted. There's many ways to move up. There's many ways for financial independence. There's so many ways to do well, especially in this country. You don't have to go without any. There's too many libraries. There's too many classes. There's too many seminars. There's too much information. There's too many books. There's too much capital. There's too much help. There's too much training here not to do well. There's too many ways. So find you some ways. There's plenty. Here's the 4th key to sowing and reaping, or 5. And that key word is anyone. Anyone can sow and reap. That's what's exciting. Anyone can. Now the question is whether or not you will. But can is not the question. Will is the question. Anyone can. Mr. Keogh says, try my plan. I put it together. The Keogh plan. Put aside $145 a month for the next 30 years. It's $1 million with the tax advantages. $1 million, 30 years, Keogh plan, $145 a month. Not a bad plan. Become a millionaire. Now, anybody can. The question is, who will? That's the question. Son asked his father, when his father's 50, we're rich, right? The Keogh thing? His father said, no, we're not rich. His son says, well, the Keogh thing, the $145 a month Keogh thing. He says, yeah, I know the Keogh thing, but I didn't go for that. Son says, you didn't? Says, no. I picked another plan for the $145. So what'd you do with the $145? Said, well, I bought beer and cigarettes. See, anybody can, whether you will or not. See, that's the question. And here's a good question to ask. We are all buying somebody's plan. The question is, whose? Who's got you talked into doing what you're doing? Who's got you talked into your present plan? See, 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. The question is, where? But see, anybody, if you want to, can go searching for a good plan, pick it, and start working it. And sure enough, as the time passes, as it surely will, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, then you'll be winding up wearing what you want to wear, driving what you want to drive, living where you want to live, become what you want to become. But now's the time to fix the next 10 years. And who can? Anybody. Here's number 6. The 6th key to sowing and reaping. There's one thing better than the truth, and that's the whole truth. And here's part of the whole truth of the law of sowing and reaping. Number 6 is, you could lose. There are times when you just lose, no matter what you do. It's that kind of planet. You reap what you sow, yes, but... What does that mean, yes, but? Well, the farmer plants his crop in the spring, takes care of it all summer, loves his family, works 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, is an honorable man. Come fall, he's got a beautiful crop, and he deserves every bit of it. But the day before he sends the combines into the field, a hailstorm comes along and beats it all in the ground, which means you lose. Somebody says, well, what did he do wrong? Answer, nothing. It's just that kind of planet. Sometimes it's going to hail on your crop and rain on your parade, so you got to get ready for that or you will be naive. That's just part of the life arrangement. And don't press me why. I was not in on some of the original decisions here, so I don't know how it got set up. But there's just times, sometimes you lose. That's part of life. But now here's number 7. The 7th key to sowing and reaping. And it goes like this. It's just another way to quote the same law. And it goes like this. If you don't sow, that's just another way to quote the law. If you don't sow, what? You don't reap. You don't even have a chance. So if you looked at your game plan tomorrow, you might come to the quick conclusion, I got to get some sowing going. How true. Get you some sowing going. And remember, you've got plenty of time. You've got all the time there is. Some people spend enough TV time to make a fortune. The latest article on television watching in this country, according to the latest article, the average television is on in this country in every household 7 hours a day, called the Big Seven. I asked a guy one time what his TV cost. He said about $450. I said, you forgot to look at the price tag. He said, what do you mean? I knew he was a TV watcher. I said, that television costs you, in my opinion, at least $12,000 a year. To watch it, not to own it. Owning it's cheap. Watching it is what's expensive. And I said, hey, $12,000 a year is too much to pay to watch TV. That's too much. Pay a little, but not $12,000.
You have to understand why you're going through the period that's causing you to make you want to give up. See, the devil has one mission only, is to rob you of your destiny. If you quit whatever you're trying to accomplish, if you quit, whatever you were trying to accomplish can never happen. There's not even a remote possibility. If you quit, there is no chance of it popping back up again, coming back later. Quitting is guaranteed failure. That's the devil's only job. If he can get you to give up, you have been robbed of your destiny. As you have aspirations, you got to understand that the devil understands your aspirations too. The devil's job is to rob you of your destiny. So there will always be an obstacle. So if you're waiting on the right time, you'll never make the move. You have to go. If he can get you to become a criminal, he robs you of your destiny. If he gets you to never follow your dream, chase your dream, he robs you of your destiny. If he causes you to think that this is all my life is, he has caused you to rob you of your destiny. This is yours. You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody, especially the devil. The difference between successful people and non-successful people is what goes on in between here. That's it. They're not smarter than you. God don't love them more than he loved you. It's just that they thought themselves into a different position. And that's all. You have to master this. When you have thoughts that are negative, that's not God. That's Satan. He's doing everything he can to keep you from being who God made you to be. You got to get focused, man. Do not let Satan come in here and function and operate, because he has one mission: to keep you off course, to make you not think it's possible. That's his only job. So he has a lot of people that work for him full time. They're called haters. I have lots of haters. They on the internet all the time. But who are they though? They don't even know me. People who are haters on the internet, I call them thumb gangsters. They just typing. Their little punk got a private page. They saying about. They don't even know me. So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Who are haters? Haters are not shakers and movers. They're not power brokers, and they're not decision makers. The only way a hater has power over you is if you give it to them. That's the only way. Martin Luther King said once, a man can't ride your back unless you bend over. I don't bend over. Long as you don't be what God made you to be. That's the devil's only mission. So he's going to throw opposition in it. And along the way, I don't care who you are, whatever you pursue, you're going to have opposition. But your goals and dreams have to be bigger than your problems. And I always just kept big aspirations and dreams. And then when I ran into problems, and I ran into some big ones. You know how you old people say, I ain't got no problem bigger than my God? Well, I didn't. God is always coming. Here's the deal. The moment you ask God for something, he boxes it up and he ships it to you.
Yeah! I'm Rosary Bemay. Promotional copy. Caché Royal. Tagal. Tuturin ko ng style. Anto amit hindi mi. Bono Mr. Da manera mi. Iami no manera abo. Viva manevo ta sinti dushi. Sinti